Hi, this is Ed. Today, I'm particularly addressing folks of color about why we need to stand up for trans people, particularly genderqueer, non-binary, and transgendered young people, and why that's important to us and to our overall cause for justice. So, a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of having an amazing brunch with a group of extremely professional, fun, badass Black women. And the conversation at some point turned to trans athletes in sports, which of course is particularly about trans women athletes in sports at very competitive levels, right? And so they were talking about whether trans women athletes at highly competitive levels, whether it's fair, whether they can compete fairly. Now, I think rational people can have that debate, and that's fine. But what I also said during the course of that conversation is it's really important to remember that this debate is not really being brought up because of fairness. This debate is being brought up by conservative folks who want to rally their base because they're uncomfortable with the idea of transgender folks and because they can frame it in fairness. And so what we're going to do is understand that this isn't really a debate about fairness. What this really is about is getting people riled up on an issue to attack trans people. And we're not going to fall for that illusion. We're not going to fall for the debate on their terms. And here's what I mean. All right. So we can talk about whether it's fair for an Olympic athlete to compete as a transgendered woman. But last week, House Republicans passed H.R. 734, which amends Title IX, the federal education law that bars sex discrimination, to define sex as being based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. The bill goes on further to bar transgender women and girls from playing on teams consistent with their gender identity. They're not talking about Olympic sports. They're not talking about pro sports. They're not talking about the NCAA. This is all encompassing. This bill means that a trans teenage 13-year-old girl can't even compete on her crappy ass middle school volleyball team. This is about exclusion. This is about barring participation. This is about we're not comfortable with you, and so we're not going to let you play in our sports league, sit on our bus, drink from our water fountain, right? This is history repeating itself in the wrong direction, right? Now let's go to Florida. Oh, Florida. So last week, there was a protest at the Florida state legislature, and trans people, advocates, young people, families were protesting a new bill that would state that it is illegal for doctors to offer gender-affirming care. Okay, so people freak out because they think gender-affirming care means kindergartners and sex changes. Let's stop that right now. All right. Gender affirming care means that you can go to your doctor and your doctor will use the pronoun that fits you, that your doctor will talk about your medical care with you in a way that is inclusive, that is supportive, that is affirming to who you are. Gender affirming care is health care. It means that we can go in and be treated with humanity. And as folks of color who have been pushed out of the medical system, who have been not allowed to get the care that we need in so many cases, who have been manipulated by our healthcare systems, who have been denied healthcare, particularly for the poor, for so many years in America, we cannot stand for the exclusion of people from healthcare. All right? Now, at this protest, young people, young folks, many of whom are trans and non-binary, were separated from their families, locked in rooms illegally. And guess who the cops sided with? Right? The cops were blocking families from gaining access to their children who were being held illegally in rooms in Congress, right? And so, again, we see that their side that is promoting division, that is promoting othering, that is pushing against an inclusive society that we stand for, their side feels comfortable separating parents from children. All right. And so here's where I'm calling on us as folks of color who care about justice to not be confused by fairness. We are not going to get pulled into debates around a swimmer who is competing well in the NCAA nationals, right? We are going to look at what they are doing to our children. We are going to look at justice, which is about saying our children can participate, that our children and adults can get the health care that they need, that we can participate and be fully inclusive in society. So many times, the wrong side has said that you are different, that we don't understand you, and so we're going to exclude you from full humanity and full participation in our society. And we're not going to stand for that anymore. We are going to continue to stand on the side of love. We're going to continue to stand on the side of inclusion. We're going to continue to stand on the side of justice. And I'm going to say it, we're going to continue to stand on the side of God. Because as a very flawed Christian, as a sinner, and as somebody who embraces people of all faiths and no faiths, right? It is very consistent within our Christian teachings that we stand on the side of inclusion and love. And so that's where we're going to put our energy, and we're going to not allow people to screw with the health and the very lives of transgender people. And so let's line up and let's do the right thing. Thank you.